Whew. Alrighty, so today I'm hitting chest and try, and then I'm gonna do some cardio and abs, but I'm probably not gonna film that part of the workout. But today's topic is the Story So Far discography. I'm gonna rank all their albums from my least favorite to my favorite, and I'm gonna state this now, and I'm probably gonna state it a bunch of times throughout the video, just because it needs to be known that just because I have some obviously lower on the list does not mean that I don't fuck with the album. I love all their albums, but obviously some need to be towards the bottom. I have posted this video already on TikTok, but it was much, it was very simple. It was a very simple video. It was I think it was like a 4-minute video or something. I didn't really go into depth. Since I'm only doing the albums, a quick honorable mention would be like Snyder Street, Just Like You Said, 680 South, obviously Clairvoyant and Navy Blue. Loro, even though that's a cover, but still. Snyder Street and Just Like You Said are some of my favorite songs from the band. And also, today, or I guess technically last night, they released a live album from their 2024 tour of I Want to Disappear. I listened to it at work and then also on the way home just to have the actual... Because at work I got to listen to it, but I didn't get to really listen to it. Even though it's just a live album, I know the songs already. I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but a while back Parker posted a picture of him and the guys in the studio, and then when I saw the post for the live album, I kind of thought it was going to be kind of like Blink, where in the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, where it's the live album, and then at the very end was Man Overboard, a single, like a new song. So I was thinking, oh, maybe they're going to do that, the live album at the end have a new song. They have a tour coming up, so I thought maybe a song or two to have out for the tour. But no, it's just a live album. Still cool, don't get me wrong. They are much more active now than they were. This is gonna be I think my second or third time doing bench at this gym, because they've updated it since I've left and came back. There's a couple machines that I avoided on purpose, just because I wanted to film it for the first time for the video, but also now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should have tried them out at least once or twice, just to know how they work and know how to set it up properly, in case I look like a fucking idiot. One cool thing about coming back to this gym is there are some people that remember me and recognize me, and a couple things. They said I look bigger, which is always a compliment. And when I left that gym, I don't want to say I was in a bad place. I just wasn't in a good place. I was just somewhere in between. But since then, I am much, much better. Shout out to my homie Matt Bomney, Matt's Meals. Eat Matt's Meals. Shout out him, because he pretty much in the short story, he pretty much told me to stop being a bitch, and I just decided to listen to him because he's right. Shout out Bomney. Yeah, so pretty much this year has been just a good year in general. One cool thing about the people at my old gym saying that I look, bigger or more defined is that I'm always, when I started working out, I weighed 160. Last time I checked, I was around 194. So that was a lot of weight that I gained. In a good way. I'm not saying I'm freaking chunky or anything. I gained good weight. In my head, if you go to the gym, you have that. You're always gonna have that body dysmorphia. Where I feel like I always look like I'm 160 still, and I've been better about it. I've been more like self-aware that I'm not the same person I was, 2.5 years ago when I started. But it still lingers sometimes, and it gets to me sometimes. But I know I'm not small for the most part now. I'm certainly not big by any means, but from where I started from to where I am now, I'm definitely a bigger dude. It's always nice to hear that, because sometimes you need that reassurance. I am very excited for this upcoming tour with Story So Far and Neck Deep, because I'm also a fan of Gami. Not as much as Neck Deep and Story So Far. I used to fucking hate Neck Deep, like hate. My homie Dylan he played a couple songs, and then it made me just like, maybe I was a little too harsh on them. I don't know, man. Something about them just irked me the wrong way for many years. I was like, okay, I don't know why. I can't remember why I don't like this. This is good pop punk. I was actually a massive fan I had a little Neck Deep phase. Like, it needs to make up for lost time. I ended up seeing them in Pomona with Higher Power and Drain. That was a sick show. And now it's cool to see them with the Story So Far. I did think it was kind of weird that they're opening for the Story So Far, only because statistically they're more popular. They have like 2 million monthly more listeners than the Story So Far, but I'm pretty sure most of them are from England or some shit. Both bands are popular, like Story So Far is popular in the UK, and Neck Deep is popular over here. I don't know. I want to know why. Who did Story So Far ask Neck Deep? or was Neck Deep just trying to look for a reason to come to the U.S. and they were like, "Fuck, it, we'll open for the stories. We'll open for y'all." You know, I don't know. But either way, it's gonna be a sick show. They're gonna go set list for set list, bro. It's gonna be insane. I'm excited. I'm going with my homie Kenny. My homie Ben's gonna go too. Alex is gonna go. That's all I know of so far. I don't know. My friend Dylan was supposed to go too, but we ended up. Oh, so yeah. So Dylan put me on to Set Your Goals, and I actually did not fuck with him that crazy at first when he showed me them. But then like a couple months later, I was like, "Yo, Set Your Goals, fucking tight." Obviously, they weren't. They weren't together at the time. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. Because that Set Your Goals got back together this year. I'm playing some shows and some festivals. And then when they announced that the Story So Far is doing like a sideshow for when we were young on a Friday in Vegas with Set Your Goals opening, of course, I got a ticket for me and my friend Dylan because he's the one that put me on to Set Your Goals. And they're one of my favorite bands now. So seeing Set Your Goals with the Story So Far, with the guy who also loves the Story So Far and the guy that put me on to Set Your Goals, I just bought us tickets and we're going to go to Vegas for that. And that's a week after the show with Neck Deep. So that's going to be sick. Alrighty, I'm here. Maybe I should back up a little bit. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm gonna go stretch and shit. Okay, so to start off my list, Proper Dose. Proper Dose is it's my least favorite of their 5 albums. It's like I said earlier, I don't hate the album. It's still a great, phenomenal album. One thing that I've noticed, even when I've asked people about it, one thing that everyone kind of agreed upon was everyone says it's overproduced, which I don't think it is actually. I think what they mean by that is Parker's voice is really edited, which makes sense. At that point in the career, years of touring, years of recording, it's going to take a toll on the voice. Oh. There's a video online of Lightyear that has all the tracks and all the layers, the drums, vocals, guitars, and it's produced really well. So I think it's just as a fan base, we weren't used to Parker's voice being that tuned. For the most part, he was always tuned, but it just wasn't that processed. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a fucking great album with great songs. Goddamn. Oh. That being said, I think there are songs. I think the songs on that album that hit hard, and they're really good. But there are a couple sleepers on that one. I'm not gonna lie. "Growing on You" is one that I can skip. I guess it's kind of it actually. The topic of the album is also phenomenal. It's like their grown-up album in a way, where we're so used to these energetic, fast songs, which they still have, but it also showed that they've matured in a way and became a little more. I don't want to say softer. That's not what I'm trying to get at all. But they show that they can do more than just punk beats. So yeah, Proper Dose is my least favorite. But I mean, songs like "Keep This Up," "Out of It," "Take Me As You Please," Proper Dose. Like, come on. That was the beginning of the whole Parker standing still era, which is still a thing, kind of, except for No Pressure. That fucker. I don't know what's up with that man. I don't know why that guy just moves around for No Pressure and never for TSSF anymore. Alright, but by no means do I think that Proper Dose is a sleeper or shitty album. It's just, of the 5, it is my least favorite. I'm trying to figure out what else I want to say, but since it's my least favorite, I think it makes sense that I have the least amount of things to say about it. So I shouldn't just try to force words out. I don't even know how to use this one. What the fuck? Oh, it's kind of fire though. I'm gonna try 25 because I don't know what I can handle. Alright, so after Proper Dose, I Want to Disappear. And this one I can talk about. I'm really, really excited to talk about this one. I don't want to say it's a comeback album, even though it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. But man, this album really felt like old Story So Far mixed with some modern new Story So Far. This one's produced really well. I love the melodies on the vocals on the main, and I'm noticing this one there's a lot more background melodies happening that really play off each other really well. And I love the guitar riffs on this one. Obviously, it's about his father passing. And I've seen comments on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, shit like that, were saying that he half-assed the album and that he doesn't care about the Story So Far at all anymore. But I don't think he's even in the album, like the vinyl, it says dedicated to his father, and I don't think he would have all that and do all that and just half-ass it. I think he really meant it, and you can hear it, especially like in White Shores, man. That's a phenomenal. That's my favorite. It's one of my favorite Story So Far songs to this day. Now is White Shores. Let me hit this shit real quick. Let me see if I can even do it. Okay, I can do it quick. But I really do appreciate, man, just the whole album. But another thing about this album is I feel like it's rare for bands to put out newer albums and have some of their latest stuff be good and potentially some of their greatest. There's a lot of bands that fall off after 2 or 3 albums, sometimes 4, but not the Story So Far, man. This one's only low. No, I think it's where it should be. One thing I didn't like was that they released All This Time as a single, and that's the opener to the album, and I think I would have enjoyed hearing that song for the first time when the full album came out, like pressing play and hearing All This Time for the first time on the whole release. That would have been a little more pleasing for me. But that outro, man, I listen to it at least one time every day in the gym. Nothing standing in my way. I think of you every day. That gets me going, especially before a PR or a heavy top set. That song fucking drives me. I'm at a 25. But yeah, the mixing and the production does feel a little like a continuation of Proper Dose, like a part 2, if you may. Not in a bad way, but I do know that they went to someone else to produce it or mix it, everything. I think the first 4 albums were done by the same dude, and this 5th one was done by someone else. And it shows, not in a bad way. It's just very obvious to me, at least. And I mean, it makes sense because the guy, Big Blind, was done by the original producer. At least I'm fairly certain. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But the Big Blind single version hits much harder than the album version. Like, what's up with that? But also, Big Blind's a fucking great song. Either mix. All right, let me lock in real quick. Oh, holy shit. This is a goated ass machine. Holy shit. Oh, wow. I think I'm gonna try to do 2 more sets of that. Oh my god. I am a fan of I like the emo shit where there's a main melody on top and there's a background melody bouncing off of it. I love that shit, and they do a lot of it on this album. Seeing pretty much all the songs live at the Palladium with Koyo and Super Heaven was a fucking good ass experience. White Shores live. That's my favorite song. White Shores off the album, not in general. Seeing it live was fucking sick. I hope that they keep that in the set list for this upcoming tour with Neck Deep. I hope so. You're Still My Way. I love that riff too. I love that chorus. All This Time, like I said, nothing to say, dude. It's a phenomenal album. They killed it for it being their 5th album. For them being around that long, they really killed it with this album. And it's crazy because I still have it at 4 out of 5. I'm gonna leave like 1 or 2 in the tank because I want to do a 3rd set. Another thing I wanted to mention was this was their first record without Kellen on bass, and they had a couple of touring musicians. There's also Ryan Torf. Can't play drums on tour anymore, so he plays either guitar, bass, or like I guess just either one of those two. And you have someone else on drums and someone else on bass. So that was a whole new experience in itself. I don't know what to expect on their upcoming set list because they have so many years worth of bangers and songs that I feel like I can't be unhappy or happy with it. Whether they play these songs, I'm gonna be like, damn, that was sick. It'd be cool if they played these songs. And if they play those songs, I would have been like, damn, it would have been cool if they played those songs. That's just a fucking. That sucks when you have that many good songs. God damn. I'm trying out a new beater for the first time and I actually fuck with it. It's holding it pretty nice. Pretty good. I usually rock with Echo. This is Haas or some shit. But it's holding up well. A couple of sweat marks, but I mean that's natural. Alright, I think I'm gonna hit a little bit of try. I'm probably gonna do some dips on a machine. Then I'll do some overhead and then end with the pet deck thingy. So next up on my list, this one might cause some problems, is What You Don't See. I think that's a phenomenal sophomore record. I think that's probably one of my favorite mixes, honestly. The rhythm guitars in that album actually really take over, and some of the leads feel a little buried, but still heard, but still, I don't know, man. Same with some of the vocals feel very buried, but also still present. I don't know how to explain it because I'm not an engineer. I enjoy that mix, that sound a lot. Everything sounds thick and full, but but it doesn't pierce my shit, you know? I love the aggression on that album. I love the lyrics. Best intro, some of the best bridges, like the bridge on Right Here, insane. Intro of Things I Can't Change, insane. The chorus on the Glass, insane. But I do have it at 3. Again, this is my personal list, so fuck off. Of course, there are some classic ass riffs and songs on that album. Obviously, Empty Space, Things I Can't Change, Bad Luck. I think the bass on that album is probably my favorite. No, I lied. It's one of my favorite bass tones from them, but it's not my favorite overall. Framework, though, that's another fucking riff and chorus in what the hell? But Framework is one of those songs where I think it's one of their best, and I wish they played it live more. Phenomenal riff, lyrics, melody, cadence, instrumentation, man, it's phenomenal, man. Me and my friend Dylan, we always talk about how if the Story So Far didn't have Parker, those guys alone would still be a famous band, but even with a different singer. Obviously no disrespect to Parker. He makes the band as well. That them together make the Story So Far. Sometimes we do feel that Parker gets a little too much credit. I'm a Parker glazer, so I admit it. I think sometimes the instrumentation on of that band is overlooked just because Parker has iconic vocals. Is what it is. So we always say like, man, even if they had a different singer, they would still be a huge band just because the instrumentation is insanely good. They work well together. But then obviously Parker just elevates it and takes it to a whole new level. And same with Parker, he could have a different band, and then his vocals would make that band pop. It doesn't have anything to do with the album that I'm talking about, but just a fact that me and my friend talk about. So, after What You Don't See, my second favorite album, Under Soil and Dirt. That is not many bands have a phenomenal fucking debut record like that, dude. That is just a non-stop album, beginning to end. Personally, none of their albums are skips for me. I can listen to each one all the way through, but Under Soil and Dirt, I would argue, is their best album, but it's just not my personal favorite. That's a little humbling, oh my god. I was gonna add a plate, but I think I'm just gonna stick with 35. Under Soil and Dirt, man. Placeholder, Quicksand, High Regard, Daughters. One of my all-time favorite Story So Far songs, Closure. I think that is the first album I bought from them on vinyl, was Under Soil and Dirt. The mix on that album is also very good. Very natural. Parker sounds angry, but he just it's not. He sounds annoyed and frustrated on that album versus on the other ones he sounds just pure anger. I've also seen people say that some of those lyrics, some of those things might be outdated or cringy now, but I don't think so. I still think it holds true to them, how they felt at that time. They were young. They were 18 or 19. I don't know for sure, obviously, but for being that young and writing an album like that is just also insane. Placeholders, another all-time favorite of mine from them. I don't think you can really ask for much more in a debut record, man. Because they even re-recorded Mount Diablo from that split with Maker, and you can just tell the difference in production quality. I do wish, because on the original one with Maker, at the end they have a little pinch harmonic on the outro, and I wish they kept that. That's an album I wish I could experience for the first time again, man. I hope they played Placemaker. They played Place. I just watched Peacemaker. That's why that shit's in my head. They played Placeholder in 2022, 2, when I saw them at Joyce Manor in Mom Jeans, and that was a shock because that's not really a song that they would play a lot. And so when they played it, I lost my shit, and I want to see that song again one more time before they call it quits. But another thing I do appreciate about that album, man, is you can tell that it wasn't like overthought. And I think that's important for your first real album with a real producer on a real budget. It's not overthink it and just be yourselves and have fun. And that album, I think that shows it pretty well. In the next 5 videos, because there's 5 albums, I'm going to talk about each album. I'm going to go in order of each album. So next week I'm going to talk about Under Soil and Dirt even more in depth, ranking each song from my least favorite to my favorite. I love them all, but on rankings there has to be some on the bottom of your list. I'm gonna spend probably the actual week planning a better script. Because even today I wanted to come in a little blind on purpose, just to see what I can come up with on the spot. And low key, it's kind of hard, so I am gonna sit down and write an actual proper script for the album rankings. So yeah, because even today it was kind of hard to plan things out, and I do be blanking out because I also don't want to be taking forever on machines and stuff like that. I'm gonna do 2 more sets of this, go back, do some pec deck, pose, do abs and cardio, but I'm not gonna record that because it's just abs and cardio. Honestly though, I'm liking this beater. So this is my first time wearing this one in the gym, and it's way more comfortable than the Echo beater, I'm not gonna lie. It just feels better. It's not nearly as thick. It still springs back to me. Low key, if Echo doesn't step it up, I might have to rock with these from now on. Drops it. Well, I'm sure you've guessed it by now. So yeah, Self-Titled is my number 1. I love the raw anger of Parker's voice in that album. I relate to that album the most. I love the bass tone. I love the guitar tone. I love the mix. I love me and my friend Dylan call it Parker's shower vocals because on Solo and Nerve he has those really reverby parts on vocals that we love. And so yeah, we call them shower vocals. I enjoy the riffs of that one more. I enjoy the melodies on that one more. I enjoy like I said, the anger, and I don't want to say hate or pain, but the hate or pain in that one more. It's just my personal favorite. I'm at a 10. I think that album has more hits and bangers that people realize. Mock, Stalemate, obviously Heavy Gloom, Nerve, Smile, Solo. Come on, How You Are is another one that has just a good flow. I love playing those riffs on my guitar. I think that's my favorite tone from them, guitar-wise. Also, man, Parker's voice on that album is just Bro is pissed, and I love it. Unmatched behavior. So what if you kick the girl off stage, man? So what? They recently just had a 10-year anniversary vinyl pressing and shirts and mugs and shit that I wish I bought, but I didn't see it till it was too late, so I didn't get to get anything. But that alternate cover art where it was like the inverted colors, I really want that, so someone should give me that if you have it. All right, so like I said, so my favorite albums in my order: self-titled, Under Soil and Dirt, What You Don't See, I Want to Disappear, and Proper Dose. That's my list. If you don't like it, or if you disagree, I don't blame you. Like I said before, if someone came up to me and said, "Nah, Under Soil and Dirt is your best album," I'd be like, "Okay." If someone came up to me and said, "What You Don't See is your best album," I'd be like, "Okay." I'm not gonna argue that. Um, my next video will be just purely on Under Soil and Dirt. I'm gonna go in order of each album and just talk about each album, my favorite tracks, rank my favorite tracks, and a little bit more lore stuff. But for now, I'm done. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna admire my little punk.